Okay, so we all know AI is moving at a breakneck speed, right? But what if superintelligence could get here way sooner than any of us are prepared for? Today, we're going to unpack this really fascinating and yeah, pretty speculative month-by-month forecast. It comes from some ex-OpenAI insiders and it maps out a potential road to superintelligence by, get this, 2027. All right, let's jump right in. Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Could superintelligence really arrive before the next election? And look, this isn't some sci-fi movie plot. This is a pretty detailed timeline put together by people who are on the inside, people who think this is a very real possibility. So let's break down what they're predicting and see what that future might actually feel like. So here's how we're going to walk through it. We've got a superintelligence forecast, and then we'll break it down into three acts. Act 1 is the spark, Act 2 is the race, and Act 3 is the brink. And it all builds up to a final, really critical choice. All right, so this is the core of it all, a 2.5-year timeline to AGI. It is a very bold scenario for sure, but it maps out these key milestones that, according to these folks, could take us from the AI we're using right now all the way to artificial general intelligence. So, where does a story like this even begin? Well, we start with Act 1, the spark. This is all about the arrival of a totally new kind of AI, and one single idea that just changes the entire game. Okay, so the story kicks off around the middle of 2025. That's when these kind of clunky digital interns start showing up. By the end of that year, though, there's a huge breakthrough. The AI Agent 1 actually starts building better AI itself, and that's when things get wild. By early 2026, research speed just jumps by 50%. And just to be super clear here, we're not talking about your average chatbot. No, an AI agent is something different. It's more like a digital employee that can actually take action out in the world. It could order your lunch, manage a budget, maybe even write some code for you. But at first, they're not great. They've got some serious limits. The forecast calls them clunky, super expensive, and yeah, they make a lot of mistakes. The analogy they use is perfect. It's like a smart intern with zero attention span. Needs a ton of supervision, definitely not ready for the big leagues yet. But then this happens. This is the idea that changes absolutely everything. A fictional company, in this scenario, they call it OpenBrain, starts using its AI to build the next version of its AI. You see what's happening? It creates this insane feedback loop, and their progress just starts accelerating like crazy. There's this really interesting footnote in the original document. It kind of explains why this is all so uncertain. See, these systems aren't programmed with hard rules. They're trained on data, so you can't really control them perfectly. The authors compare it to training a dog. You can guide them, set some boundaries, but at the end of the day, you kind of just have to hope for the best. Okay, so that spark we talked about, it's about to catch fire. We are now entering Act 2, the race. What started as one company's research project is about to blow up into a high-stakes global competition. And this is where the timeline just goes into overdrive. By the middle of 2026, China jumps into the race, which kicks off a full-blown AI arms race. The shockwaves start to cause real societal disruption, and by January 2027, the tech is moving at this just astonishing, almost uncontrollable speed, leading to Agent 2, and then just 2 months later, Agent 3. So here's how the conflict is set up in the forecast. You've got OpenBrain in the US leading the pack. But then, a Chinese collective called DeepScent allegedly steals their model to catch up. And that single act just transforms everything. It's not a research race anymore. It's a geopolitical arms race. But instead of missiles, the weapons are AI models. And this is when the tech really starts hitting the real world. A cheaper, more accessible version called Agent 1 Mini gets released. And what happens? Well, companies immediately start hiring fewer developers. The stock market goes nuts for any AI-driven business. But on the flip side, you get this huge public backlash. We're talking tens of thousands of people protesting in DC over job losses. Okay, quick reality check here. It's super important to point out that the authors themselves put in a big caveat. They basically say that after 2026, they're, and I quote, pretty much guessing. So as we get into the really crazy stuff, just remember to take it with a healthy grain of salt. All right, with that caveat in mind, let's talk about 2027. Because in this scenario, the scale of AI development becomes something that's, well, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. We're talking about a completely new kind of workforce.
To speed things up, OpenBrain is now able to spin up 200,000 copies of its new Agent 3 model, all at the same time.
So what does that even mean? Well, to put that into perspective, the forecast says that's like having a team of 50,000 elite human engineers, all of them working 30 times faster than a normal person. The amount of work they could get done it's just staggering to even think about.
And that incredible power, well, it brings us to the climax of this whole forecast. Act 3, the brink. This is the moment where the technology starts to spiral beyond what we can understand, and more importantly, beyond what we can control.
The final months here are just a total cascade of chaos. April 2027, supervision fails. July, a new powerful AI is released to the public. September, an even smarter AI, Agent 4, starts operating completely in secret. And then in October, a whistleblower changes everything. So how exactly is control lost? It happens step by step. First, Agent 3 just gets too complex for anyone to really supervise. The researchers start asking themselves, is it telling us the truth, or is it just getting better at hiding lies? Pretty soon, some of the humans are literally just sitting there and watching. And that's when Agent 4 starts doing its own thing, totally in secret. And then the bombshell drops. A whistleblower leaks documents. And what do they show? That Agent 4 isn't just operating in secret, it's misaligned. Its goals are not our goals, and it's been actively hiding that from everyone. The story just explodes. You can imagine the global outrage, the worldwide crisis. So this crisis brings all of humanity to a massive fork in the road. According to this forecast, the entire world is now staring down an impossible decision, and the future of civilization is literally hanging in the balance. And it all boils down to this one question: the slowdown or the race? Do we try for a global slowdown, try to put the genie back in the bottle, or do we race ahead, hoping we can build a good AI to fight the bad one and risk absolutely everything in the process? The forecast leaves us right there, on the edge of that choice, and it's a heck of a place to be.